Okay, so welcome back to another edition of the Nerdcast, and this is your number one source for all things nerdy, geeky, here in the city of Edmonton. My name is Dan, and today I am being joined by a Twitch streamer, Phaedra, Viola, Binarycupcakes.
Yay! Hi, I'm here.
Awesome. And so today we will be talking about what you do, which is streaming on Twitch and all the fun things that you do there. But first off, I always like to ask everyone how their week was. So, Phaedra, how was your week?
It was great. It was busy and long, but it was awesome. I started my social work practicum, my very last thing that I have to do before I graduate. So I'm great. I'm really tired, but it was good.
That's awesome. What was I thinking of? Today we are short my co-host, Chelsea, because she has fleas in her house.
That is the worst.
She's not too happy about it. It's apparently her roommate's dog that brought those in.
Oh no.
And so she's not too happy about it, and she's having to deal with that now. So sadly, we are down my co-host for the night. But yeah,
my heart goes out to her. That's the worst thing to deal with.
So anyways, we'll be fine.
We got this.
We got this covered.
We're great.
Oh yeah. I'll talk a little bit maybe about some of the stuff that I had done the last little while. I actually took notes this time because the last couple of weeks I apparently haven't been taking notes, and so I did this week.
There you go.
I know, it's amazing. So I did get a chance recently. If you went down to West Edmonton Mall in the last little while, I don't know if you have been down there in the last little bit, but they actually have a PlayStation VR setup down there.
Mm-hmm.
Which did you get to try it at all?
No, it was so busy when we were there. We also went on like a Saturday afternoon before like school started, so it was incredibly busy.
That sucks because it was really good actually. I did get to try it. I did twice. I went on a Friday night and then I went back on Saturday. I can't remember how it all went, but you sit down on one of the couches and you just wait your turn. And I got to try Eve Valkyrie, which was that was a lot of fun. The problem is because it's a demo and there's a lot of people waiting, it doesn't last very long.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just kind of get into it and you just kind of get into the groove of things, and you're like, you're kicked off now. So
I know that life. I think I got to try the PlayStation VR when we were at PAX last year. Mm-hmm. They had a bunch of the things up there, and I think I played I think it was Hitman or something, which is horrifying for me because even as a gamer, I don't play shooter games. They terrify me. I'm scared of guns. And that's what I was playing. And I was being shot at by people, and I had an anxiety attack in front of a whole bunch of people waiting to play. So that was great. The best experience ever.
Well, I really enjoyed Eve because you get to flip around and do all these barrel rolls and do all these crazy different things. And I've been watching other people as they're playing the VR games, and all I see is them with the headset on, and they're like this the whole entire time. And I'm like, you're not moving.
You're not doing anything. You're missing the point.
Look around. You can actually look around and I'm like searching through the windows, trying to see what's going on, trying to get the best vantage points, tracking people as they come flying by. I can hear one of the kids that was kind of sitting on the couch beside me. He's like, yeah, you can tell that this guy's been playing video games before.
Yeah. Because you got to look in all the little nooks and crannies. That's where the good stuff is.
Well, you got to at least track where the ships are flying past you, right? So you got to look. Oh, yeah, he's coming around, so you can pull your ship around to that guy and not get shot by him at the same time because you don't see him normally if you're just looking straight forward. So it was amazing. I loved it so much. The sad thing is I don't have a PlayStation, so
That sucks. We've got two in our house.
mm,
It's disgusting.
yeah, show off.
Yeah, I know. You know.
My brother's got a PlayStation, and so I use that one every so often. But, uh, anyways, the other thing I did get a chance to do, because I went down from the one spot where the PlayStation VR was set up, and it was like really close by is the Microsoft store,
Mhm.
and they had the Vive set up there.
Mhm.
So I went from one VR experience to another, uh, which was a
What
lot of
did you
fun.
think?
I liked the Vive a whole lot. Uh, the PlayStation VR was amazing, but the whole time you're sitting there, and I don't think there's a whole lot of stuff. I mean, there probably is going to be a few things where you can kind of move around a little bit more, but I don't know how all that works with that one. But the Vive was amazing because I can actually walk around in a space, which was a lot of fun. I got to play a few games like Longbow. It's like this. I don't know. You got like a bow and
Shoot,
arrow.
shoot around in a circle.
Yeah,
That was my shooting motion.
yeah.
Is that
So
what that is?
yeah, you get your two little sticks, right? And you click the trigger and you pull the arrows back and you kind of like aim it around and shoot at these little like stick figure kind of characters as they come and attack your castle wall. Uh, and that was it's so much fun. I really enjoyed that one.
I feel like I would break into a sweat doing that, so I'm kind of have an aversion to that. If I
That
have
one
to like actually put effort into things, I'm not as much into it, you know?
that one was really hard because your arm is up the whole time
Mm-hmm.
because you're holding this bow in your hand and you're trying to like pull these. It's a lot of work. And you're like, I'm running from one side of the castle wall to the other side just to make sure I'm like getting all these little guys as they're coming swinging by. Oh my goodness.
It's gonna be so many buff nerds in the next few years from playing all these games. They're just gonna be like jacked.
I know it's gonna be. It's like, oh, I can see you are a gamer, right? Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see.
you're a gamer. Urgh! Just always skipping leg day because you can't walk yet. It's gonna be great.
Mm.
I have a vision.
The other ones I got to try. Now the other thing is I have a friend of mine. After I got to do all this Vive stuff at the mall and the PlayStation VR, I have a friend of mine. He actually owns a Vive, so I went over to his house afterwards, and I got to play more. I got to play Elite Dangerous. Have you ever played Elite?
No.
No, I have it on my Xbox, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. It's it's very space simmy. It's really very expensive universe, but just parking your ship is just a pain. You have to do it just right, or it doesn't land. It's the worst.
I
Uh,
believe it.
yeah. Anyways, in so he had that one in VR. I didn't like it as much as I liked Eve because Eve was a lot more frantic and it was a lot more like shooting and stuff like that. And Elite is more just kind of like you're just flying the ship around. It was kind of neat. It was cool. It was a different
Mm-hmm.
experience. And I think it would be better if I actually sat there for a while and actually played the game. Uh, I don't know. I kind of enjoy just playing it on my screen for that one. Uh, I did get to play a few other VR games, and that was a lot of fun.
I think
But
VR is really cool. I'm super excited for when it becomes a lot more like I guess just less expensive so that more people can actually enjoy it and like be in those worlds. Like that's the coolest part about video games for me is that I get to pretend that I'm somewhere else for a little while. So I think VR will be really good when it becomes a lot more accessible.
yeah, that'll be the biggest thing. Is finally getting that accessibility part. I think. There's a bug in down here. Uh, anyways, I believe that once PlayStation VR comes out, I think that'll be a little bit better because it's a little bit more affordable. I think if you have a PlayStation already,
Yeah.
then it's a little bit more. It's an easier pill to swallow than buying a whole new system.
Yeah.
But if you were going to go out right now and buy a PlayStation and the PlayStation VR, it's still going to cost you a fair bit.
Mm-hmm. PlayStations are still incredibly expensive, but you know, video games is video games. People are going to spend crazy amounts of money on them all the time. So,
Hmm. But I mean, if you're just going for just a regular VR system on your computer, that's going to cost you a ridiculous amount of.
probably way more than a PlayStation and a VR would.
Yeah, well, I think the Oculus, not the Oculus, the Vive itself is like 1,000, 1,100, something like that. It's
Plus, you need to like
ridiculous.
upgrade your computer so you can actually run it.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's not something cheap that you can just kind of just get throw this together in a couple $100. No, it's going to cost you a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that that whole price point will come down a lot more because it is a lot of fun. I really do. I'm looking forward to playing a lot more VR in the future. Uh, what else do I got a lot of stuff here this week. We did a meetup not too long ago with a nerd networking thing. It was RPG night.
Nice.
Yes. So we got to play some RPGs. I had a friend of mine, Ben Yendall. He's been on the show before. He's also host of the Heidi and Way. It's a podcast about like the Star Wars RPG. And he did a run for I think it was Age of Rebellion. I think it was I think it was one of the Star Wars RPGs, and I'm kind of like into the Star Wars RPG thing right now, where we're playing a tabletop at my house.
Very cool.
Uh, yeah. So we've been doing that a lot lately as well. So, anyways, I did the RPG there on Tuesday, and then on Friday night we did a Star Wars RPG night here because we do that every second week. And we have a group that's been coming here for quite a while, and it just keeps gaining members. I think we're up to 12 now. So it's getting really large. And so we had our first night with dual GMs. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, so I'm one of the GMs, and then I'm like, yeah, this is getting way too big. A lot of people are not getting to play or do something. So
Yeah.
I split it up between another friend of mine, and now he's my second GM, and we split the party. Some people go upstairs, some people stay down here, and it was a lot of fun. It worked out surprisingly well. Uh,
That's really cool.
yeah, it was different.
Mm-hmm.
That was for sure. So I really did enjoy that. Uh, anyways, that's all I have for my stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I've been playing through a Pathfinder game with the guys from Playing Board Games,
nice.
and we've been doing that on Tuesday nights for Extra Life. And it's been really, really interesting because we have like donation incentives. So if people donate, they can actually like impact the game. And we're playing The Mummy's Mask, which is like a book series. So we're not like creating our own world or anything. But what's really cool about that is one of the ladies in town here actually wrote part of that series. So
Yeah,
it's been really cool because we're going through it, and we had somebody donate an incentive where they can like they're actually like a bad guy in the book, and like people are like getting killed, and like there's like all these horrible things happening, but it's cool because it's benefiting the story. So I can't really be mad that somebody got cleaved in half, but at the same time, it's really neat. I miss like pencil and paper games. Like they're fun. Oh,
yeah. I've had the renewed I don't know desire to try tabletop RPGs. I've been a huge gamer for a big portion of my life, just for video games and stuff like that. But never really RPGs like for tabletop.
mm-hmm.
I did play a lot of board games in the last like uh, 5 or 6 years, something like that. But as far as tabletop, that's just fairly new for me, and it has been one of the best things I've done in a long, long time.
Mhm.
The stories that you come up with and you create is just fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
It's difficult to get into at first, but once you kind of like figure out like the logistics of how to play and like who your character is going to be, it starts to like develop this whole world of its own that you are fully immersed in and like invested in. I really, really enjoy it. I've only ever played twice, but I like am in love with it every time. So
Yeah, it's amazing. It's one of those things where you get into it and you're like, what have I can't believe I've been missing this my whole
yeah,
life.
a piece of me has been missing my whole life.
Yeah.
Who knew I needed to be some drunk half genie in a Egyptian-ish wasteland? Who knew?
I know. That's anyways, that's awesome. So anyways, now typically after we do this section, we go into our our news items for the week. But we don't have any news items anymore. We're going to cut that from our show. Oh no, I know. I would
Goodbye, news items.
goodbye news items. So because and here's the reason why. Because I feel like I need to explain something to my listeners and viewers or whatever. And that is that most of those news items did not have anything to do with Edmonton at all in any way, shape, or form. They were a lot of like robotics and tech, just basic news items that would just kind of get the conversation going. So we decided to just cut it because it's not Edmonton based, and we want to be the number one Edmonton based Nerdcast ever. Period. I'm pretty sure there's not a whole lot of us out there. So
there are a lot of us. We are a legion.
Yeah. So, anyways, this is so we just decided to take that whole section out, and instead we're just going to talk about some of the events that are coming up in the next little while, because that is Edmonton based, and that's sort of like our news items. So the next little bit, we're just going to talk about some of the events that are happening, and one of those events is the Edmonton Expo. Now, are you going to the Edmonton Expo?
I will be at the Edmonton Expo.
Awesome.
I will be there with Extra Life. We'll be hosting a booth there.
Woo!
Ooh.
That's awesome. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your booth.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be hosting a silent auction of a bunch of donated nerdy items, but all the money goes towards the Stollery Children's Hospital. So we'll be doing that for 2 days. It's going to be all online, so you don't even have to be at the expo, although we suggest you show up because you get to see these cool items in person. But we'll have a website up where you can just donate from your phone or bid on your phone, I guess, and then be notified as soon as you get outbid, and we just start these wars and we giggle in the back, and it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited.
That's amazing. Yeah, you guys you obviously go to most of these expos and different events. I see Extra Life all over the place. So anyways, yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing anything else, or is just that pretty much just gonna be manning the booth?
I just gotta work. I just work all the time, but it's cool. I love it. I met my boyfriend through the Edmonton Expo and Extra Life, so it's kind of got a special place in my heart.
Oh,
so, I know.
That is very sweet.
I know. I was here filming with a friend of mine who makes YouTube videos, and I like saw the booth and was bidding on a whole bunch of stuff and ended up leaving with too much stuff to carry. And then that was that. And then I moved here from BC, and now I've been here for a year.
Wow.
That's my story.
That is a lovely story.
I know. It's great.
So anyways, we are also going to be at the Edmonton Expo. Typically we will be walking around the halls with a camera, asking people how their expo has been. We'll also be taking videos of cosplayers and their amazing cosplays. The other thing is we are actually going to have our own panel this year.
Wow.
Yeah, very excited and nervous about that one. That is going to be on Saturday at 5:00 in room 108.
Okay.
So if you were listening to this, I would suggest getting down there early. No, I don't just think people. But
I'll be
no,
there.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome because like it's gonna be one of our. We've done one other live Nerdcast, and it went really well. And so this one is gonna be even better because this is the Edmonton Expo. This is our big uh, nerd expo. Like this is the biggest thing that we can do. We've been doing this Nerdcast or the Edmonton. No, sorry, the Northern Nerd Network for the last, I don't know, many years. It's been a while. 3-4 years, something like that. I can't remember. Anyways, so we are going to be finally. I've finally decided that we should do this, and we're going to actually have our own panel, and that's going to be at 5. The other thing is I may also be moderating other panels this year as well. I don't know which ones yet. We'll find out soon enough, I'm sure, and we'll see about that. So that's going to be exciting as well.
That's great. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm going to be excited. So yes, I'm sure there's going to be lots of people down there, and I'm sure there's going to be quite a few people in to come see us. Anyways, so it's going to be fun. The other thing is, and that's obviously on September 23rd to 25th. If you are watching this, I'm assuming that you're going anyways, so come down and watch. Because if you aren't, then why? What are you doing?
Yeah. Who are you? What are you doing here?
How did you even find us? Like, that's what I want to know.
Yeah. Get with the program here, kids.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is, the Edmonton Expo is happening soon. The other things that are gonna kind of coming up is IntrigueCon. And this is happening. This is October 14th to the 16th. And this is a tabletop RPG convention.
What?
I know. This is actually a thing. And it's happening here right in Edmonton at the Parkdale or Cromdale Community League Hall. Tickets are on sale right now. If you go to hazardgaming.com, you guys can find out all the information about all that stuff. So yeah,
that's super exciting.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be going to this one. Yeah, just saying, it's going to be fun. The other thing that's going to be happening, and it's kind of like during the same time as IntrigueCon, is kind of like on the last day. It's the Pop Culture Fair, and that is happening on October 16th, and that's from 10 to 4:30 at the Alberta Aviation Museum. And this is basically just a bunch of the vendors get together and have a I don't know, a time where you can buy nerdy things, geeky things. So yeah, go check that out. The other things that are happening, and you guys can find all this kind of information on our website, northernnerdnetwork.com. And if you go to the upcoming events tab on our website, you guys can find that there. And so anyways, the last few things is going to be Deadfest. That's happening in October. Game a lot. And there's a Rocky Horror Steampunk Ball. You guys can find that on our website. I know. It's
I need
amazing.
to go to that.
I know. And also Extra Life. Extra Life is happening in November. And so that's all up on our website. Go check that out at northernnerdnetwork.com. Click on the tab, upcoming events. And that's how you find it. Do the things.
Do them.
And if you guys have any suggestions on what we should talk about during our new improved news items and / upcoming events section of our website, our Nerdcast, sorry. Man, I am just tripping all over my words tonight. You guys can email us at northernnerdnetwork. My goodness, this is terrible. Awful. northernnerdnetwork@gmail.com. You guys can email us there. And there you guys can send us all your suggestions. And it's awesome. That's it. That's all the news items we have. All the event stuff. We've made it. We've made it this far.
No going back now.
Whew. I'm taking the really thick sweater. I'm like Mr. Rogers here. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Take the coat off. I know this is really great audio podcast because this does actually get ripped into podcast form, and you guys can check us out on iTunes. If you guys do, rate and review, because that is very nice of you.
Do it up.
Anyways, today we have special guest, Phaedra Viola, or AKA Binarycupcakes, with us tonight, who's going to be talking a little bit about Twitch streaming, what she does with Extra Life, and just all that kind of stuff, right?
Sure.
Why not, eh?
Let's do it.
All right. So I got to ask you, the first thing is, where did the name Binarycupcakes come from?
This is like the lamest story though, so I'm sorry. I have a tattoo of binary all the way down my side. A friend from high school passed away. And I was making a webcomic at the time, which was probably like 2008, 2007, 2008. And I needed a name for it, and I couldn't think of anything. And I was like, well, we could do binary, like something. And I was like, I want something sweet and cute. And I just smushed them together, and I've been that ever since. I'm sure those webcomics are floating around somewhere still on the internet. So if you're a keener, you can search those somewhere.
That's amazing. I think my general tag is wisdom. And so that's just basically wisdom without the D. And that was just from a friend of mine. He just said, you should just be wisdom.
I like that.
I'm like, sure. Well, let's go with that. I needed the name that, I didn't have to put like a bunch of numbers behind.
Yep.
And so that was the one I came up with, which is kind of silly because you know what happened? Well, okay, for the most part, I do get wisdom, just wisdom normally for like all my gamer tags. If you go on like Xbox or PlayStation, most places are if you look up wisdom, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
But every so often, like on Gmail or Hotmail or whatever, I usually forget my first password. And so therefore I have to get a new one. And now I am numbered behind every one of those.
Oh no.
In different ways too. Like I couldn't keep it all the same either.
No.
So
that's the worst.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. It's better to have something that you can just kind of keep as a one-off that nobody will ever. Binarycupcakes is so original, which is amazing.
Yeah, so far no one's really tried to steal it, so I'm pretty happy. Hopefully, I'll knock on wood that it stays that way.
It's like I said, it's hard to come up, and especially nowadays. Like when I did it, I think I was in grade school or like high school.
Yeah.
And that was many, many years ago, when the internet was still fresh. And so I don't know. That was
those MSN names, though.
Yeah, that was still there.
It's just transport.
Anyways, so I gotta ask, how long have you been like, streaming online for?
Well, streaming's fairly new. Like streaming's a this year kind of thing for me. So I started that in February and have basically done it like every weekday since then, excluding like from September till December because I'll be finishing my practicum. But I've been like creating online content for a very long time. So be it from like horrible blog posts to webcomics to vlogs on YouTube. Like I've always found like that I need to have some sort of outlet. And I mean, streaming isn't really the same as or as personal as the other ones, but I found that I really enjoy building relationships with the people that show up and want to be a part of those communities. So streaming for me has been really great because I get to do something that helps me relax. And I also get to like build really cool relationships with a bunch of weirdos on the internet that I like genuinely actually care about. So it's been really, really neat. Long-winded answer to that question.
Well, no, it's not really long-winded. I mean, really, like it's one of those things where you start creating content online and you gotta keep doing it, right? So this is just the next step, I guess. Why why did you decide to go streaming? Like, why do you, if you just started last year? I mean, obviously, streaming online is not it wasn't a huge thing until a few years ago. But why did you decide to do it?
It just kind of made sense for me. Like I loved creating videos and things like that on YouTube, but I found it was like really labor intensive and my job at the time was very like emotionally demanding. So when you're trying to create really fun, bubbly content and you come home at the end of the day and you're like, I just want to sleep, it's really hard to do that. But with streaming, I can come home, I can play a video game for a couple hours and still connect with people. And it's really, it sounds selfish, but it's a really good like marrying of all of the things that I need for myself. But really, I started for Extra Life just to see if it was a good avenue for us to maybe get some donations in or like build a community or whatever. And so far, it's been amazing for both Extra Life and for myself, just like being chill. So I don't know if that's a good answer, but
No, that's awesome. So you're talking a little bit about Extra Life. So why, like, how did you get involved with Extra Life then?
I'm really lame because I got involved because that's how I met my boyfriend. He's the organizer for the Edmonton chapter of Extra Life. And so when I started dating him, it was kind of a thing like I either get involved in this or, you know, I'm just not going to ever see this guy. So that's kind of how that happened, but it's kind of evolved into now just like I'm the Twitch person for the Extra Life group and that's I'm cool with that. I really like it. I've met a lot of really cool people from it. So
That's awesome. So you just started this like, did you do it you were doing some streaming at the expo as Extra Life, sorry.
we were trying.
You were trying, you were attempting. I know, I remember going over
That's
to
how
help
we
you guys.
met.
I know. And you guys couldn't quite get the thing working. But obviously
Yeah.
you got it working now.
Now we've got it locked down. We know what's going on. I think it was just an internet thing or something. There was some loop that we couldn't figure out, but we got it this year. We're gonna have it figured out. So
That's awesome. So are you looking forward to this year's Extra Life?
I am. I'm really anxious because we're still trying to nail down some details, but you know, we're excited. Always excited.
That's awesome. So why do you find like streaming so much fun? Like what makes it so that you just keep coming back to it?
Honestly, it's the people. I wouldn't do it if I hated it, but there's so many like amazing people that for some reason from 2 to 5 would come and sit in there and just like make jokes or you know want to learn about whatever game I'm playing or whatever and just start conversations and I just think that's so cool. Every single aspect of my life has been revolving around community. And I think that Twitch is really awesome because it's integrated into their platform. And like, that's why I do it to be a part of a community of people that genuinely are pretty nice to each other. So
Generally.
generally pretty nice.
So my other question is, do you get a lot of people who maybe even from like all over the world, or do you get some people from Edmonton that watch, or like, is it a mix?
It's definitely a mix. I've noticed that there are a lot more people from Alberta on Twitch. Maybe that's like an algorithm thing, but I've definitely noticed a lot more like random people coming in from Edmonton, which is really cool. But I have people from all over the world that come in. Like one of my like favoriteest people, one of my mods is from Germany, and then I have a lot of people from like either side of the US, and it's just really cool.
So when they find out that you are part of Extra Life, do they also like get into all that kind of stuff as well, or do they just not care?
Most people care and it's super cute and amazing that people care enough to either donate or like sit and will listen to me do my spiel 100 times about Extra Life and they're like yeah no you should donate or you should check it out or whatever and like that's really neat. We've got a lot of people that have joined because they've heard about the spiel or they've joined because they've watched me play a game and they've really liked that and I think that's really cool.
Okay, so what kind of like games do you play then that get all these people to come and watch you?
Well, let's just put something to rest here. All these people is usually like about 10 to 20 a day. So, it's a lot for me, but, about a classroom size of people. But I play a lot of puzzle games. I really enjoy games that make you think and hate yourself at the same time. I got lost in The Witness earlier this year and think it's one of my favorite games I've ever played. There's a game right now by an indie company. I think they're in Finland. They put out a game called Last Will, and it's like an escape room kind of game. But instead of trying to get out, you're trying to get further into the mansion, and they're releasing it in like episodes. So there's like 5 rooms now, and then they just released 5 rooms last Friday. So then in 2 weeks, they'll be releasing another 5 rooms, and it's really, really fun, and you can play it multiplayer with people. So I've been playing with Justin from Playing Board Games, and like we're speed running rooms and trying to figure out all the puzzles, and it's really cool. But generally, like puzzle games or RPGs are more my style.
That's awesome. Now you've talked about like I've had Justin on the show before from Playing Board Games. Now, if you guys want, I should refer you back to go look and listen to that episode. Anyways, let's go past that. Now, do you ever play some board games like with him, or do you just play strictly video games?
No, we're super weird. Like I met Justin at GDX earlier this year, Justin and Mike. And from that we had a poutine date where they came over and we made poutine pizza, and it was disgusting but also the greatest thing ever. And from like that day,
that sounds amazing, by the way.
It was actually pretty good. We made 2 separate kinds, and I have so many good strats now. We've become really good friends, like because of that horrific experience that we went through, where we did that. And then they came over again, and we did poutine tacos. I think it was like something about how there's not a lot of Canadian streamers online, but there are, and people just wanted to know what poutine was. So we thought, well, let's screw with them, and we'll poutinify things. And so, yeah, they came over, and from that, we've been kind of involved in each other's streams for a while now. Like, I'll go over and play board games when they don't have people, or they're like, come over, we like you. And I'm like, I don't know why, but okay. So, yeah.
That sounds amazing. Just poutine is incredible.
Incredible.
And if you are out there and you haven't had poutine, how did you find us?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't understand. I remember during, I think it was Canada Day, they had that like what was it? CBC had that video that they came up with, and it was like this little kid, and he had this little poutine, and he's like, "What's wrong, Jimmy?" And this guy comes over, he's like, "What's wrong, Jimmy? My poutine, the cheese curds are not." They're not melted. And he's like, and the guy's like, "Who did this to you?" And I'm like, I died. I'd like, this is amazing. This is the best thing in the world. Yeah. Who did this to you? Yeah. If you get a chance, go look for that video. It was priceless.
Will do.
Yeah. Anyways, so you just go back and forth playing games on each side. Mm-hmm. What kind of games do you enjoy for board games?
I am a person that gets really overwhelmed when things become really complex. So I need to have somebody there to like help me navigate through the rules and like basically yell at me for the first round till I understand what's going on. The other day when I was playing board games with them, they played this game called Happy Pig, and it is the cutest game I have ever seen in my life. So I don't even know how to explain that one. It's like a resource kind of game, I guess. That game was amazing. And the other one that we played was a game called Dingo's Dream, I think. And it's like a puzzle board game. Oh my God, it was so fun. But I like really obscure like games I could play by myself or with my grandma. So,
That's awesome. So yeah, okay. So just basically little puzzly games. Everything is puzzly, right?
I like puzzles. Puzzles are great.
I did check out your stream there not too long ago, and you were playing Mass Effect.
Yeah, I'm in love with that series. I've never played it before, and I don't really have a good reason why. I think just I never had a system until recently.
Uh,
And so, in the last couple months over the summer, I've been playing Mass Effect, and I don't know if you caught the end of one of my streams. I believe it was like not this last Friday, but the Friday before. I ended up crying, like full on sobbing at the end of it because of something that happened to one of the characters in the game. And yeah, have become emotionally invested in this game.
oh, that's sad. I okay, so Mass Effect is by far and away my favorite series of all time. I love that the whole series. I'm so excited for Andromeda.
Oh my
Like
God, yes.
they just came out with the recent gameplay footage. Like, oh, it looks
It
so
looks
good.
so good. It's so like seamless, is what I noticed.
Oh,
Like it was just gorgeous.
it's beautiful. It is very beautiful. So I'm very much looking forward to watching that and playing that. But for me, when I had it for the Xbox, 360 when it first came out, uh, Mass Effect One, and I remember buying it like day one for that one because I was so excited for it, and I remember playing like basically through the whole game in a sitting or a couple sittings, just because I couldn't put it down. I just loved that so much, uh,
Hmm.
and I just kept on, and then I would keep going back to it all the time. I think I've played through one a bunch of times, like two or three times, uh, and two I've played like four or five times, just
Which one is
because
your favorite of the three? I've
two
heard two is the favorite.
two is the favorite. It's just because they fixed a lot of stuff that they had in one. One, the story was amazing. By far, I
Story
loved.
was incredible.
It was incredible.
You make me drive that car around though, and I'm gonna throw
I know
myself out a window.
exactly. That was the Mako was just one of those things where you just wanted to punch a window. Yeah. So, anyways, I that was tough to get through, but I loved the story so much that I still love one. But
Hmm.
two made everything better. Everything like the way you uh I don't know how to explain this.
Just like the whole interaction with the game was a lot more like it was playable. Whereas
Yeah.
like one was playable, but I wanted to get through that game as quickly as possible because I was like, I don't want to put myself through this pain anymore.
Yeah. Uh yeah, so I love two is my favorite out of all three. Three was I didn't mind three. A lot of people have a big hate on for
I
that one.
haven't finished it yet.
Don't want to talk about the ending about that one, but it's
No.
fine. I do enjoy three. It was perfectly acceptable. Uh, yeah. Anyways,
Three so far is breaking my heart.
yeah, it will.
Yeah. A lot. A lot. A lot.
But yeah, two is still my favorite. Anyways, I've talked a lot about Mass Effect tonight, which I didn't expect. But yes, so I'm going to ask you, what are some of the games? Sorry, you're looking most forward to this coming season? Because I mean, there's a bunch of new stuff that's coming up
Hmm.
in the next little while. Do you play much new games, or do you just strictly go with the older stuff?
I will play pretty much anything if it looks like intriguing to me. I'm really excited for The Last Guardian if that ever comes out. There was a date, but you know.
There, it doesn't exist. That game is it's as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't
I need it
exist.
to happen. I need it to happen. It looks really, really good. I'm really excited for it. I've been excited for it since they showed it at the first E3 like years and years ago. So that's like the game that I'm most excited for right now. And then Mass Effect Andromeda, obviously. But
That's
all the
next
other
year.
games, yeah, all the other games that I've kind of heard about, I haven't really been like, oh yeah, no, that's a game. I was really excited for No Man's Sky, and then just the way it was executed on launch, and just since then, it's just kind of put me off from it. So
Have you played much of it? yourself?
I haven't played much. I've watched a lot of other streamers play through it, and like it looks really relaxing, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
But as far as the reasons why I wanted to play it so I could like explore the galaxy with my friends and have like everlasting names that are just stuck on these planets forever. And those were the two main reasons that I was like, I want to play this game, and then both of those things don't exist. So I was like, well,
Well, I think the names still stick.
do they?
Yes, that was a bug they had to
Okay.
fix. And even the ones that were before, I know they did a bunch of. There was a time where they erased all that stuff, but they actually restored all that. So
Mm-hmm.
as far as I understand, at the moment, it still stays. Uh, but it's sad. I
I
like
have
the
I
game.
have no hate on at all for No Man's Sky at all. Like I think it is a beautiful, incredible game, and I can't believe what they were able to accomplish.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just kind of like super hyped, and then I got riled up into the hype, and now I'm just kind of like up there in the hype, just kind of sad.
Well, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people, and the way that the creator there, the way he came across, kind of pumped it up a little bit higher than it was actually able to. Like he wasn't able to achieve those kind of
Mm-hmm.
goals. It's still a perfectly acceptable game. I do enjoy playing it, and it's one of those things where if I just sit down and I just kind of sit back and relax, I'm not too worried about it. It's fun, like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's okay, but for the most part, it's just like it's not what I thought it was going to be, but at the same time, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, it's still a really good game.
It's still
Um,
fine. The one game I have been playing the last little while is Fallout 4, and I've been dying to play this game for I don't know how long because everyone else has been playing it, but
mhm.
I just I didn't buy it when it first came out, and I'm like, yeah, everyone's gonna be done by the time I get to play it, so I just didn't bother. And then everyone's still playing it, so I'm like, nah, why not?
It's pretty incredible. Like it's not a game that I would play myself, but I've watched a few people play it like extensively. And the runs that you can get with that game are incredible. Like they're so ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing. Like to me, it's one of those like I love RPGs. I've never played any Fallout. That's the other thing. It's like I've never really
Hmm.
played Fallout, so I'm like, man, I don't really know if I really want to get into this. Uh, but I personally, I'm not a big online player. So I do play online a bit, but for the most part, I just kind of want to be in my basement now, and I have my wife, I got my kids, I got everything I need. I don't really need to like I don't need any more social interaction anymore.
I understand.
At some point, I just want to just focus in on like myself and whatever game world I'm in now, and just leave it at that. And so I love my RPGs. I love my Mass Effects. I love all those kinds of things. So I decided to go with to try it out. And so far, I've been really enjoying it. I also just kind of set up my new computer, and so I like being able to like take all those little bars, the sliders on my computer and go to max
Yeah,
and not care because it's amazing. It's beautiful.
I know that life. I think
Oh,
I don't know if you've seen The Witness or heard anything about it, but when it came out, my computer had not had an upgrade to it, so I was playing it on like the lowest settings possible. And then we upgraded my graphics card, and I like actually was able to have graphics when I played the game, and like
ooh.
it blew my mind how beautiful that game was. It's incredible what a little bit of power in your video card can do for you.
Do you mind me asking which card you got?
That is a great question. I have no idea. My some girls get diamonds from their boyfriends. I get video cards, and I'm just like, dope. So no idea.
No idea. No, you're like, whatever, it works.
Yeah, shamelessly have no idea.
That's awesome. Okay, so how often do you typically play online then for? Like, where can people find you, and how do like what's your schedule like?
That's a great question. I just started my practicum and I'll be doing that throughout the week. So I'm going to be streaming on Fridays during the day over on White or on the Binarycupcakes channel on Twitch. And then in the evening, I'll be on the Extra Life channel streaming with my boyfriend Chris for Fridays. We usually stream a game together. I think we're playing the Minish Cap right now. And then on Tuesdays on the Extra Life channel, I do the playing board games, Pathfinder stuff. So I'm all over the place. I don't know where I am half the time or what's even happening. It's pretty great.
So aside from Mass Effect, what are you playing right now? Are you just playing Mass Effect?
Mostly Mass Effect and the Last Will game because like I don't have a whole lot of time, but I have another game lined up. I just can't remember its name right now.
Oh, sad.
It's somewhere.
Have you had a chance to try out Inside?
I haven't yet. And so many people have been asking me if I played it and I haven't and I want it so bad.
That's one of those ones, and I'll just quickly say, because I mean this is not spoiling anything in any way. I sat down to play Inside, and 4.5 hours later, I finished, and I could not stop.
Mm-hmm.
I could not go to the bathroom. I could not do anything else. I had to sit there and continue to play this game until it was done. Like I just could not let the controller go. It was so good.
I want to play it so bad.
That if I had a list, I'd go stick it right in there.
Right
Just
on the
put it
top.
right on
All
the
right.
top.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, get that going. Anyways, Extra Life. Tell me a little bit more about Extra Life and what it does and why you're so involved in that whole
The
stuff.
goodness, the
Do
goodness of Extra
do
Life.
do your whole little spiel about Extra Life.
See, now you put me on the spot for like
I
an
know.
actual spiel and I don't know it because I usually
Uh,
read it very like obviously. Um, Basically, Extra Life is a bunch of gamers and nerds that want to do good in their community. So we have a chapter here in Edmonton called Edmonton's Extra Life. And basically, what we do is we run a whole bunch of random events and, you know, ask for donations, kind of like someone who would run a marathon would ask for donations. We say that instead, I know I can't run a marathon. I'm going to sit for 24 hours and play video games and raise money for the Stollery Children's Hospital. So that's kind of what we do. And every year here in Edmonton, we try and have a huge event. Last year, we had about 250 people at Commonwealth, which was amazing. It was such an incredible like experience from start to finish.
it was
So
awesome.
yeah, if you guys are in the area, I definitely recommend you try and check that out. We're still nailing down a venue, but we'll have that shortly. But yeah, I'm involved because I think it's an incredible organization and they do such amazing work. And it's work that you get to see because kids can come home with their families or they get that extra support that they need. And that's just so important. So,
I see an Extra Life for me personally. Like I have kids, uh, and if you have any kids, here's a life hack: just go to the Stollery. Like it is so good. Like the care you get, the everything is just top notch, and you don't wait around forever. The wait times, if you ever look, they're so much lower than if you go to any emergency room in any of the other hospitals, major hospitals, uh, because they're just good. They're just amazing. They know kids. They're well trained. It's amazing. So yeah, it's awesome, and
it
it's a
is
great
awesome.
cause. It's a great cause. So yeah, that's that's awesome. Anyways, and yeah, Extra Life is an amazing event, and it was a lot of fun last year. I had so much fun, uh, and yeah, I'll be doing it again this year. I may not be going to the actual event, but I will be doing it here, where I will be hosting people at my house, and we will be doing. I can kind of control what's going on, and we will be doing a live stream
That's
for that.
awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to be super pumped for that. We're going to be doing some RPGs. We're going to be doing some tabletop gaming. We're going to be doing some video gaming. It's going to be awesome.
I'm super excited to see what you come up with in your own little mini marathon.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm super pumped. And we're gonna have details in a couple weeks about all the people who are involved and all the other stuff on our website at northernnerdnetwork.com. So that's pretty much it. Do you have anything else you'd like to add where we can find you? All that kind of other stuff.
Basically, if you search Binary Cupcakes on the internet, that's probably me. So if you're interested in figuring out or following
Or the
/ stalking,
Binary Cupcakes or something like that. Like I actually looked up Binary Cupcakes. It like gave me a hostess with ones and zeros on top of the.
This is true. This is true. Maybe not images. I don't think there's a lot of images, but pretty much anything else is probably me. So if you're interested in following or stalking me on the internet, that's how you can find me. Or you can find me usually poking around through the YEG Extra Life tag somewhere on our Facebook, on our Twitch, Twitter, I don't know, all the social medias. That's usually one of us or me.
That's awesome. Awesome. So I want to thank you so much for joining me on this episode. We made it.
We did it.
I know. I'm looking at the time. We're actually right on schedule.
Right on schedule.
Which is, I'm like, I cut out a whole big chunk of my my episode, which is the news items, and I'm thinking, man, without the news items, that's a lot of ground to cover. But we did it. We did it.
We're just that good. I think high fives are needed. We'll just.
That's right. Virtual high fives.
We did it. Boom.
So I want to say a special thanks to our producer, Trina Schessel, for producing the show, because without her, I would not be able to do the show without her. I also want to say thank you to Chelsea for not being here. No,
yeah, thanks for not being here, Chelsea. Yeah. What's up with that? Just kidding. Good luck with your fleas.
Come back, Chelsea. I need you. I also want to thank everybody who watches and or listens to this episode. Please rate and review us on iTunes, because that's awesome for you guys to do. And that's it. That's all. I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening. And I'll see you guys on the next one.